When AI becomes your doctor, is it the future of healthcare or the end of human care? For most of human history, medicine has depended on one thing, and it was a human trying to understand another human, like a doctor listening to a patient's story. Healthcare has never been about finding the right answer. It has been about trust. But now we're entering a period where one of the most important relationships in human life may be transformed forever. The relationships between a person and their doctor, because of artificial intelligence, is beginning to enter medicine. And the question is no longer whether AI will affect healthcare. The question is, how much power are we willing to give it? Artificial intelligence has already shown that it can perform tasks that once required years of human training. One of the most significant examples is medical training. In 2020, researchers from Google Health published a study in Nature showing that an AI system could detect breast cancer from mammograms with fewer false positives and false negatives than human radiologists in their testing. So, the system was not about replacing doctors. It was recognizing patterns that humans sometimes miss. And that's where AI becomes extremely powerful. Human doctors are limited by time. They may review thousands of cases throughout their careers. AI systems can analyze millions of examples, learning patterns from enormous amounts of medical data. This ability could completely change early diagnosis. Diseases like cancer, heart conditions, and neurological disorders are often easier to treat when discovered earlier. AI could help doctors identify problems before symptoms become severe. But healthcare is not just a pattern recognition problem. A human body is complicated, and a person is even more complicated. Two people can have the same disease, but completely different experiences. One patient might need aggressive treatment, but the other one may need a different approach because of either their age, lifestyle, mental health, or just personal circumstances. And this is where AI faces one of the biggest challenges. It can analyze information, but can it truly understand a person? A machine can recognize that someone is at high risk for depression, but it cannot experience sadness. And this raises a question: is intelligence enough to provide care? Or does healthcare require something beyond intelligence? Research has already shown that AI in medicine comes with serious limitations. A major concern is bias. AI systems learn from data created by humans, and human data is not always fair. In 2019, researchers found that a widely used healthcare algorithm in the United States underestimated the health needs of Black patients because it used healthcare spending as a measurement for medical need. The problem was not that the algorithm was intentionally discriminatory. The problem was that it learned from a system where unequal access to healthcare already existed. The AI simply reflected the patterns it was given because artificial does not remove the human bias. Sometimes it can automate it. Another issue is privacy. Healthcare data may be one of the most sensitive forms of information that exist, and medical history can reveal our genetics, our future health risk, and personal details about our lives. It requires enormous amounts of data to improve, but this creates a difficult question. Who owns this information? Is it the hospitals collecting it? Is it the companies building the technology? Is the government regulating it? Because the same technology that can save lives could also be misused. A system designed to predict disease could theoretically become a system used to judge people. Imagine a future where an algorithm predicts our chances of developing a medical condition before you even know about it? Who decides what happens with that information? However, focusing only on the dangers ignores the incredible potential. AI could help solve one of the healthcare's biggest problems: access. Millions of people around the world live in areas where doctors and specialists are limited. AI-powered healthcare tools could help bridge that gap. A person in a remote community could use technology to receive medical guidance, identify warning signs, and connect with specialists faster. The World Health Organization has recognized that artificial intelligence could help strengthen healthcare systems, especially in areas where medical resources are limited. But they also emphasize that AI must be developed responsibly, with human oversight, transparency, and protections of patients' rights. Because healthcare is too important to completely hand over to machines. Maybe the future of medicine is not a world where AI replaces doctors. Maybe there's a world where doctors becomes more powerful because of AI. A doctor with access to the memory of millions of cases, a researcher able to discover treatments faster, a patient receiving personalized care based off their unique biology. The goal should not be creating machines that replace human compassion. The goal should be creating tools that allow humans to express more of it. Because medicine has always been about more than survival. It is about dignity. It is about helping people through some of the most vulnerable moments of their lives. And that is something no algorithm can measure completely. The future of healthcare will not be decided by whether AI becomes intelligent. It will be decided by whether humans remain wise enough to control the intelligence we create. Because the greatest medical technology in the world means nothing if we forget the person behind the patient. The original painting. My grandfather spent the last 20 years of his life restoring paintings, but he never believed he was repairing them. He always told me that restoration was a dangerous word because it made people believe they were returning something to the way it was before. In reality, he said most people were only replacing what they did not understand with something they could accept. I never thought much about those words when I was younger. To me, my grandfather was just an old man obsessed with damaged paintings. He would spend months sitting in silence, staring at a single crack in a canvas as if it contained a secret the rest of the world had missed. Whenever I asked him what he was looking for, he would always give me the same answer. The part everyone else decided wasn't important. After he died, I inherited his workshop. I considered selling it at first. The place was filled with old tools, unfinished paintings, and shelves of journals written in his impossible handwriting. But while cleaning the room, I found something hidden beneath a heavy cloth in the corner. A painting. There was nothing special about it at first. It showed a person standing in front of a massive white wall. No scenery, no symbols, no obvious meaning. Just a figure staring at something completely empty. I almost threw it away. Then I noticed the edges. The painting was not one painting. It was hundreds. Layers of paint covered one another, each one slightly different from the last. Some were brighter, some darker, some more detailed. It looked as if countless people had spent centuries trying to finish something that was already complete. I became obsessed with uncovering what was underneath. At first, I believed I was searching for the original, the first image, the true version before everyone else had changed it. But every time I removed a layer, I found another interpretation beneath it. A landscape became a person became a symbol became something completely different. Every generation had looked at the same image and seen something else. The strangest part was that every artist believed they were correcting the mistakes of the one before them. They were not destroying the painting, they were improving it, or at least that was what they believed. I spent months researching its history and eventually found references to it in my grandfather's journals. The painting had been passed down for centuries, traveling between families, artists, and collectors. No one knew who created it. No one knew why. But everyone agreed on one thing. The original was impossible to understand. The earliest records described it as something that could not be captured by ordinary perception. People who saw it described completely different things. Some said it showed the beginning of existence, others said it showed the end of it. Some claimed it revealed the purpose of life itself. Eventually, people stopped trying to understand it. They started trying to translate it. They created versions that were easier to explain, easier to teach, easier to pass down. And with every generation, the painting became less like what was originally created and more like what people needed it to be. My grandfather's final journal entry was about the painting. It said, "Humanity has always feared things that are too large for the mind to hold. So we take them apart, we simplify them, we give them names, we create explanations, and eventually we forget we ever changed them." I sat in his workshop for hours after reading that. I thought about how many times humans had done the same thing. How we took things beyond our understanding and reshaped them into something that fit inside of our world. Maybe it was not because we were arrogant. Maybe it was because we were human. A person cannot hold the entire ocean in their hands. They can only carry a small amount of water and convince themselves they understand the sea. Years later, I still have the painting hanging in my home. People often ask me what it means. Sometimes I tell them about the history behind it. I tell them about the generations of artists who tried to uncover the truth hidden beneath the layers. But I never tell them what I truly believe, because the more I looked at the painting, the more I realized something. The layers were not hiding the original. The layers were the story. Every person who tried to make it easier to understand was part of what it had become. Maybe humanity has spent centuries searching for the original version of everything. The original truth, the original meaning, the original answer. But maybe we were never meant to find something untouched by us. Maybe the moment we encounter something greater than ourselves, we inevitably leave a mark on it. And maybe that is both our greatest weakness and the most human thing about us.